All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Now, we are on part three of the power of your attitude. The power of actions. Your actions determine your character. We've already seen that your basic outlook on life, the frame through which you see things, sets in motion a powerful chain of events, beginning with the thoughts you think and leading to the words you speak. These two powerful forces, thoughts and words, shape your identity and your reality. That is how you view yourself and the world around you. Now, let's look at the third powerful force that stems from your attitude, actions. Your actions are the response to the world and how you engage the world based on your perception of it. If you have a positive attitude, think hopeful and optimistic thoughts, and speak positively about yourself and others, that will show in your behavior. Melissa, oh my God. Hello. Hello. You will be trusting, truthful, helpful, and generous. However, if you have a negative attitude, which gives rise to negative thinking about yourself and others, which in turn takes shape in negative speech, like gossip, complaining, and naysaying, that will show up in your actions too. Like the first domino that causes a cascading chain reaction, your attitude, either positive or negative, sets in motion a series of consequences that powerfully affect your life. And there's a lot at stake here, especially when it comes to your actions, because your actions determine your character. So, your character is formed by your basic outlook on life. Perhaps no person's life illustrates this powerful principle better than that of Oscar Wilde, the Irish playwright and novelist, the author of many highly popular works, including The Importance of Being Earnest and The Picture of Dorian Gray. Wilde was one of the best known literary minds of the 19th century. He subscribed to the philosophy of aestheticism, the belief that beauty is the highest good. Trinity, hello. That mindset pervaded his life. The young aesthetic, hold on, hold on, give me a second. Let me see how to say that word. Aesthesis It might be aesthesis. Where is it? Let me find it. The young aesthesis. I have to. Okay. I put $5. It's gonna be aesthesis. No, est, est, just pronounce it. Tell me how to say it.
Aesthete.
Oh, aesthete. Okay. Aesthete. The young aesthete. Oh, well then wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see. I must have said that word wrong. Aestheticism? Oh, jeez. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me see how you say it. Aestheticism? Aestheticism. Ah, of course. Aestheticism. Okay. And aesthetes.
Aesthete.
Aesthete. Ma'am, it's just aesthete. Aesthete. Okay, let me start over. He subscribed to the philosophy of aestheticism. 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 Ooh, that's a tongue twister there. Aestheticism. What is that? The approach to art exemplified by, but not restricted to, the aesthetic movement. And what's the aesthete? As aesthete. 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 Two syllables. Aesthete.
Aesthete.
Aesthete. Aesthete. Aesthete. S. A person who has or affects to have a special appreciation of art and beauty. Oh, that's me. Aesthete. Aesthete. Aesthetism. Aesthetism. Is it Aesthetism? Aesthetism? It has to be.
Aestheticism.
Aesthetic.
Aestheticism.
Aestheticism. Aestheticism. Aestheticism. Aestheticism.
Aestheticism.
Aestheticism. Aestheticism.
Aestheticism.
Aestheticism. All right, let's try it. He subscribed to the philosophy of aestheticism, the belief that beauty is the highest good. That mindset pervaded his life. The young aesthete lived out that value in everything from his choice of home decor to his pursuit of a life filled with creature comforts, and personal pleasure. Predictably, his outcome on the world eventually took shape in action, and Wilde became immersed in a life of dissipation and immoral conduct. He even spent 2 years in prison, convicted of gross immorality. Later, Wilde reflected on his beliefs and actions. I amused myself with being a flâner. Flâneur. Let me look it up and see how you say it. Flaneur. Flaneur. Flaneur? Flaneur. Okay. Flaneur.
Flaneur.
Flaneur. Flaneur. Flaneur.
Flaneur.
Flaneur.
Flaneur.
Flaneur. It's an idler or lounger. Flaneur. 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 I amuse myself with being a flaneur, a dandy, a man of fashion. I surrounded myself with the smaller natures and the meaner minds. I became the spendthrift of my own genius, and to waste an eternal youth, and to waste an eternal youth Okay, hold on. I became the spendthrift of my own genius, and to waste an eternal youth gave me curious joy. I couldn't tell you what that means. To waste an eternal youth gave me curious joy. What does that even mean? To waste an eternal youth gave me curious joy. I don't know what that means. I'm like, I don't know what that means. To waste an eternal youth. And what he said gave me curious joy. Let me To waste an eternal youth. Meaning, the phrase to waste an eternal youth suggests squandering the potential and vibrancy associated with youthfulness, particularly when one has the opportunity for perpetual youth. This concept often reflects a deeper irony, as it implies that even with the gift of eternal youth, individuals may fail to appreciate or fully utilize. Okay, well, some mythological roots. Many cultures have myths surrounding eternal youth. Is that what he said? What did he say again? Uh, Hold on, let me go back. So, hold on. Okay. Um, I was gonna say don't do that. Okay. 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 To waste an eternal youth gave me curious joy. Okay. To waste an eternal. Okay. Okay. Huh. Interesting. It's an interesting way of saying something. To waste an eternal youth gave me curious joy. Gotcha. Tired of being on heights, I deliberately went to the depths in the search for new sensation. What the paradox was to me in the sphere of thought, perversity became to me in the sphere of passion. Perversity, 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 perversity. A deliberate desire. My nose will not stop itching. Hold on, give me a second. A deliberate desire to behave in an unreasonable or unacceptable way. Contrariness. Okay. Pervasive. Perversity. Goodness gracious, talking about perversity. Hopefully that helped my nose stop itching. Goodness gracious. Perversity. A deliberate desire to behave in an unreasonable or unacceptable way. Okay. Deliberate. Perversity. Okay. He did say, I deliberately went to the depths in the search for new sensation. What the paradox was to me in the sphere of thought, perversity became to me in the sphere of passion. Desire at the end was a malady or a madness or both. I grew careless of the lives of others. I took pleasure where it pleased me and passed on. I forget that every little action of the common day makes or unmakes character, and that therefore what one has done in the secret chamber, one has someday to cry aloud on the housetop. I ceased to be lord over myself. I was no longer the captain of my soul and did not know it. I allowed pleasure to dominate me. I ended in horrible disgrace. There is only one thing for me now: absolute humility. Take careful notice of this line. Quote, every little action of the common day makes or unmakes character. I have, uh, hold on, let me see. Excuse me. Um, I have a highlight feature here. Oh, every little action of the common day makes or unmakes character. Someone has said that character is what you look like in the dark, meaning that your character is indicated by your thoughts and private life. In fact, your character is the sum of all your actions, including the seemingly small decisions you make to be punctual or to procrastinate, to tell the whole truth or spin it to make yourself look better, or to spend time with your family or binge watch videos. Your outlook on life drives your thoughts, your words, and eventually your actions. So it's no exaggeration to say that your attitude is what ultimately creates your character. So it's no exaggeration to say that your attitude is what ultimately creates your character. Yes, your attitude has that much power. It seeps into your thoughts, leaks out through your words, and runs like a river through the hundreds of choices you make every day. Let's take a look at the ways your attitude shapes your actions, either positively or negatively. First, we'll look at the effect of a negative attitude on your actions. And then we'll see a stunning example of how a positive attitude produces a stellar character that positively affects the world. Change colors here. I'm gonna put that yellow. A negative outlook produces negative actions. I repeat, a negative outlook produces negative actions. By now, the cascading effect of your attitude on all of your life should be clear. Let me change the music because she is s- booming in my ear. Thank you. Hold on, give me a sec to change the music. Okay, that's better. By now, the cascading effect of your attitude on all of your life should be clear. You know the power of a chain reaction and tumbling dominoes or creating a stampede. But you may not be aware of how directly your attitude affects your own actions and by extension, your character. Let's face it, negative traits are much easier to spot in other people than ourselves. Here are just a few of the ways a negative outlook on life will sabotage your ability to take actions. It kills your creativity. Let me get a color. Everything positive that you accomplish in life begins with a possibility. You have to see yourself as capable in order to try something new, like learning a language or writing a book. However, a negative outlook grinds those possibilities to dust by making you feel incapable and powerless. Remember, a negative attitude has its first effect on your view of yourself. Oh, I will quote you on that. Remember, a negative attitude has its first effect on your view of yourself. Your thoughts shape your identity. Before long, that negative thinking finds itself into the words of naysaying statements like, I could never do that, or that'll never work. As a result, you fail to do the things you'd really like to do. It makes you untrusting. So it kills your creativity and it makes you untrusting. How so? My friend Jeff teaches research and writing methodology to college students. One day he gave them a field assignment. Talk to one stranger each day for 2 weeks and write about your findings. Jeff wanted to challenge the seemingly prevalent belief that most of the people we encounter every day at school, work, or the shopping mall are out to harm us. He decided to try the experiment himself. And on the very first day, he was alert for opportunities to engage someone he'd never met in a brief conversation. While walking down the aisle at the grocery store, Jeff saw a man coming toward him, a young man in his 20s, looking let me look it up. Furtively. It can't be nothing else but furtively. Is that an E? Does furtively have an E in it? Furtively. Furtively. In a way that attempts to avoid notice or attention. Okay. Furtively. It was furtively. Let me find my spot. Let me. Mhm. Okay. A young man in his 20s looking furtively around and keeping his right hand in his jacket pocket. The fellow exactly matched the common description we so often see on the news of a criminal suspect. The young man approached Jeff and pulled his hand from his jacket. Frightened, Jeff flinched and was about to yell for help. That's when the young fellow spoke up. Can you tell me where to find the diapers? He asked, pointing to the shopping list in his right hand. My wife just had a baby and I need to pick up some things before she comes home from the hospital. Far from being a threat, the young man was seeking Jeff's help. While there certainly are people in the world bent on doing harm, most of the people we meet don't fit that category. Yet our thinking has been shaped by the good advice our parents gave us. Don't talk to strangers. Jeff realized the profound effect this thinking has was having on his actions. He was suspicious of others and treated them accordingly. That's the effect of a negative outlook on life. It makes you suspicious of others, untrusting of people who seem different, and unwilling to accept newcomers. Negative thinking produces a defensive reaction that keeps you closed to new relationships. I like that. Negative thinking produces a defensive reaction that keeps you closed to new relationships. All right. So we had it kills your creativity, it makes you untrusting. Now we're on to it destroys your confidence. Change my color here. A negative outlook destroys your self confidence, and that undermines your success by making you risk averse. We all like living in our comfort zone, but making progress in life requires pushing yourself beyond that from time to time. For example, if you want to find a better job, you have to submit resumes and put yourself out there in the hiring process. That can be intimidating to say the least. When you have a negative outlook, here's what happens in your life. You begin by thinking negative thoughts and developing a poor self image. That thinking takes shape in words such as, I'm too old for that job, or they probably wouldn't hire me, or I don't have the right experience. Eventually, that finds its way into our actions, or rather, inactions. It feels safer to go to work every day at a job you hate and to take the risk of stepping out and trying something new. As the old saying goes, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. I've never heard that before, but I like that. I feel like I should put that on a shirt. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Wow, that's so simple and profound. It's phew. A negative attitude holds you back from trying new things. Wow. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. I love that. I absolutely love that. All right. We have some. All right. It kills your creativity. It makes you untrusting. It destroys your confidence. It makes you cut corners. A funny thing happened at midnight on April 15th, 1987. 7 million American children suddenly disappeared. No, it wasn't a mass abduction. The Internal Revenue Service had just changed a rule so that rather than merely listing dependent children by name on their tax forms, taxpayers were required to provide the Social Security number for each child. Suddenly, 7 million children who existed only as phantom exemptions on the previous year's 1040 forms vanished, representing about 10% of all dependent children in the United States. That may make you smile, but it's further evidence of the negative effects of a poor attitude on your actions and ultimately your character. People who cheat in small ways, such as lying on tax returns, shoplifting, or telling white lies, are often driven by the belief that the world isn't fair. I deserve it, they think. Life is easier for other people. Why shouldn't I get a break? That basic belief in unfairness and inequality finds its way into the selfish, negative behavior of cutting corners, cheating, lying, or worse. Make no mistake, your attitude affects your character. That basic belief in unfairness and inequality finds its way into the selfish, negative behavior of cutting corners, cheating, lying, or worse. Make no mistake, your attitude affects your character. Simple yet profound. All right, negative outlook produces negative actions. It kills your creativity. It makes you untrusting. It destroys your confidence. It makes you cut corners. Is this last but not least? Yes. And last but not least, it makes you stingy. Hold on, let me highlight it. We often say that a pessimist sees the glass half empty, an optimist see it as half full. I'd like to take that one step further. A person with a positive outlook sees the glass. I was trying so hard to swallow that yawn. Hold on. You know, fight it back. A person with a positive outlook sees the glass as half full and getting fuller. The person with a negative attitude sees the glass as half empty and getting emptier all the time. In other words, negative thinkers have a scarcity mindset. They believe that there's never enough money, resources, or time. As a result, they begin to see others as a threat to their dwindling supply of resources. They give less money to charity. They dislike sharing. They fight for parking spaces. Why? Because they're convinced there'll never be enough for everyone. Negative thinking makes you more likely to hoard resources and exclude people. We could say a lot more about the effect of a negative outlook on our actions and character, but you get the idea. People who have a negative attitude respond to the world and those around them in negative ways. I don't know if y'all like that. People who have a negative attitude respond to the world and those around them in negative ways. They become fearful, closed to new possibilities, lacking in confidence, and selfish. The good news is that your character can change because you have control over your attitude. Let's take a look at some of the healthy results of a good attitude on your actions and character. A positive outlook produces positive actions. One way to describe the positive effect on your attitude, uh, one way to describe the positive effect of your attitude on your actions would be to simply list the opposite traits we've just listed. Having a positive attitude does indeed take shape in positive actions, such as a willingness to try new things, openness to new people and situations, honesty and generosity. When you have a positive attitude, when you have a positive outlook, you develop a positive image of yourself that produces hopeful words such as, I think we can, and we have plenty to go around, and let's try again. Those uplifting words create a positive reality that leads to bold, hopeful actions. People who have a positive attitude become confident, adventurous, and forward looking. They respond to the world in positive ways, and they're often much loved and incredibly successful as a result. That was certainly true of Truett Cathy, founder of Chick fil A restaurants, who passed away in 2014 at the age of 93. Cathy entered the restaurant business with his brother in 1946. The pair bought a small restaurant in Hateville, Georgia. Shout out to Hateville, called the Dwarf House. Child, listen, you got to see it. Look, you got to see, which is still in operation today. You have to see it. There, they developed the signature chicken sandwich, for which the nearly 2,000 Chick fil A restaurants are known. Truett Cathy had a positive outlook on life, and that outlook contributed to his success as a business person and his willingness to take risk. Cathy's optimistic attitude was underscored by his powerful faith, like a like another highly successful Georgian, President Jimmy Carter. Cathy taught Sunday school at his hometown church for many years. Due to his strong belief in the value of Sunday as a day of worship and family time, all Chick fil A restaurants are closed on Sundays. Cathy began the policy in 1948 when he himself was working 6 days a week and saw how detrimental that was to himself and his family. Losing Sunday sales may have cost the company millions, but Kathy's strong beliefs resulted in positive actions, and he has succeeded. One of Kathy's favorite saying is, it's easier to build boys and girls than to mend men and women. That positive speech turned into positive action when in the late 1940s, Kathy hired Eddie J. White, a young African American, at his first restaurant. Remember that the American South was still segregated at that time, so the decision was very unpopular. Kathy was undeterred. His belief in equality and opportunity became bold action. He also mentored an orphan by the name of Woody Falk, beginning when Woody was 13. Woody eventually became vice president of product development at Chick fil A. And Kathy developed a successful foster home system called WinShape Homes. Today, Camp WinShape and the WinShape Foundation provide scholarships for kids and college students. Woody Falk gives a good summary of Kathy's character. A lot of people look at Truett as Santa Claus, but he's not. He'll meet you halfway so that you can learn a lesson from the process. He's the personification of James 1:22. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Does your attitude affect your actions? You bet it does. When you have a positive outlook, you'll be confident, forward looking, engaged in the world, and willing to take risk to achieve what you believe. Your attitude determines your actions. Your actions determine your character. It's as simple as that. Unseen. Look, it's as simple as that. And that's it. That was the end of part three. Speaking of being a, what is it called? A step. It's still up here. Let me find it. But I have to go back. Aestheticism.
Aestheticism.
I know aestheticism. Aesthete. Aesthete.
Aesthete.
Aesthete. Aesthete. Man, get it together. Oh, no, that's me. I had it wrong. Aesthete. I pushed something. I have, let it go in my ear. Aesthete. I have an art project that I need to finish while everyone is asleep and no one is bothering me about painting. They'll see me painting. I'm in my painting era now. I'm in my painting era. Um, and I'm really just trying to brace myself because it just it has a mind of its own when it comes to that painting. Like it has a mind of its own. I started with this let me see if I can find it. With this little this I don't know what to call it, child. I couldn't quite um oh, it must be on this phone. Um, because I have like different Um, I have hold on. I can airdrop this picture. I have to get me some more Altoids. Got the airdrop on now. Let me see if I can airdrop this to my okay. Stop trying to connect to my AirPods. Alright, it knows. Let me put it off. Um, okay, let me open it and see if it'll pop up. Okay. So I bought some grass seeds because you get so bored so quick. So bored so quick. You always just have to find something to do. Try like don't take my word for it. Okay. Like it's the summertime. Uh I think it's the picture. Yeah. Okay. So right here, it was this little brick. Now, technically, this picture here is because right, you see the grass is this was like a this was I bought some grass seeds. Okay. And um was it last week or was it the week before last? We had rain for like a whole week, which I had no idea it was gonna do that. But I love divine timing. Hold on. It's me talking. I absolutely love divine timing. And so what ended up happening was I have this area. It starts here and it's like a semicircle. It's massive. It goes all the way around. It's technically the picture is on my streaming phone that I'm streaming on right now. So this was like the only picture that I had because I went outside after like a week and I saw the grass growing. Like it had only been there. It had only I had dropped those grass seeds um when they came that Thursday. I went out there and sprinkled them quick, and it rained like 10 minutes after I was out there. And I took this picture. Let me see when I took this picture. I actually had another picture. Excuse me. May 30th, which was Saturday. You see what I mean? Like that was Thursday when I dropped when I sprinkled them. This was all bare. There was clearly it was nothing there. Oh, and then to be specific, I only sprinkled in this little cu- lis- I only had it was a small bag. It was 5 pounds. Um, the brand was amazing. I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it was a really great brand. I bought it from Home Depot. It was like $18. 18 and some 18 and some change or something like that. Drought Defy. Hold on, let me look it up and see if as you know, grass seeds. Um blue somebody in the and yeah, because it took a week for me to get them. She got a 20 pound for like 60. But the one that I had got 18.96. Here, be nosy. No, not this one. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Get you on YouTube. No, 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 over here, that drop the five. This is the ones that I have on, right here. Yeah, fiction, though. I got it. Hold on. The little 5 pound, the little 5 pound. For like 18, because I had to buy some dirt. Um, and what else did I have to buy? I think it was just some dirt. It was something else that I feel like I owe some fertilizer, even though I didn't know that she had fertilizer at the bottom. I had ended up buying like a 25 dollar bag of fertilizer and some dirt. Because obviously I needed dirt. So um I went out there, I put some dirt down. I was just focusing like on this particular, hold on, let me see if I can get over here because my pointer is on the wrong place. Okay, here we go. So I'm focusing on this inside area here, right? Like I probably like maybe about 12 inches, give or take, however long this is. So just right here, right here. Only this little area right here. Put a little dirt down, put the grass seeds down. Um, that was Thursday, and I took this picture Saturday because I was like, dang, because the package said it was gonna take 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm like, oh, it'll take a minute. Man, do you see all, oh my goodness. Anyway, so and now I'm about to get ready to go and finish my painting. It's I I don't, let me see if I have a picture of it. Um, technically, I just airdropped it to myself. So hold on, give me a second. So, um, I'm gonna close that because I'm gonna get ready to open up another picture real quick. So, um, hold on, I gotta change the picture. Um, is that it? Okay. All right. So this, just focus on the board in the back, right? I had put it outside and it started to like decay because it rained. Like, so I'm painting this right here. This, ironically, this may be like the only picture that I have of it. This was a picture that was going in a collage. That's Christian, that's Madeline, that's Madison, that's my mom, and obviously that's me. Um, I don't know who took this picture. Look, I'm like, I couldn't tell you who took this picture, to be quite honest. It could have been my mom's friend or whatever, but um that's what I'm painting. And so I have the base, I painted it all white. And so now I have to figure out what I want to do with the rest of it. And obviously it's so much better when everyone is asleep because people will see me painting and then they're like, ooh, 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 I want to paint. Ooh. And I'm like, when having like 5, 6 people paint at one time, it just caused like so much anxiety. So, in the meantime, in between time, hold on, let me check the chat because just spam in the chat, spam in the chat. Look, spam in the chat. I did see Trinity. I did speak to Trinity. And I was trying to figure out if Melissa was the Melissa, remember when the audio was messed up and there was somebody, for some reason I just feel like that was Melissa who was like, "Oh, your audio, she the one put me on." I was trying to figure out, was that her, the Melissa? I'ma just add as a moderator anyway. But in the meantime, in between time, okay, love you, bye. Mwah. Mwah.